What's going on, YouTube gang? I'm back with another video. Of course, as you can see in the title, it's another relationship video, and today's focus is communication. Communication, of course, is one of the most important things in regards to a relationship, because without it, you're doomed to fail. Let's just be real. You're doomed to fail. Communication is very important in all relationships, whether it's business, personal, significant other, friends, family, whatever you name it. So you definitely want to take it into big consideration, make it a big important part of your relationship, and always have a solid foundation in regards to how you handle communication. Believe it or not, communication, well, I ain't gonna go that far. Let's see. So the first thing that you have to know about communication is, can you communicate with the person that you're dealing with? I mean, if every time you open your mouth and you're always disagreeing with the person that you're talking to, that's already bad. You already might as well go ahead and call that quits. There's not much you can really do in that regard. So you definitely want to make sure, of course, without a doubt, that you can communicate peacefully, calmly, like an adult, have fun, and all that kind of stuff. Communication always also opens the door to help you understand the person better. So you get to learn what makes that person tick, what makes them happy, sad, mad, and all that kind of stuff, which I was always taught. My mom always told me, it was like, even though you don't want to be the person to make your significant other mad, you still at least want to see them in that particular light. So I'm not saying go pick a fight with them or whatnot, to say, hey, I need to see what you like when you mad, to see if you crazy or not, or whatnot. But maybe in a different situation where someone else does it, and you calm them down, try to calm them down or whatnot. Can you handle them when they're mad, when they're sad? Because those things are more important than handling people when they're happy. If communication is awful when you're mad and sad, that's a super insane red flag. Because everything's good in the puppy love. I said puppy dog. But everything is good in the puppy love stage of the relationship, when you're first getting to know each other, you're hanging out and having a good time and all that. But you still have to understand what makes each other tick. So you want to go ahead and establish that. That's usually what you do in the first few dates, depending on how fast or slow you take it. Of course, you don't want to take it too slow, because it'll get boring at that point. But and then if you really click with somebody, that's gonna go pretty fast anyway. So again, step one in communication is talking, getting to know each other, and learning what makes that person tick, so that you can better understand them and they can better understand you. If you have effectively completed this part of the process, you know the things to stay away from, which, if you're an older sibling, you probably have what I call an older sibling syndrome, where once you find out what makes somebody tick, and you intentionally do the things that piss them off, just to get a reaction out of them. I've seen that particular thing happen in far too many older siblings, and it's constant. It's not like something that anyone can get away from. I have seen it happen in a lot of older sibling situations, but I digress. Stay away from the things that, make that person upset or mad or makes them cry if they're a crier and that kind of thing. Next, to kind of piggyback off of that, make sure you can handle that person when they are in those bad situations. If someone's mad and their personality is too much for you to handle when they're mad, then that's a red flag. You probably want to, give yourself some time to think about, is this person willing to bring it back down to a level that I can handle this, or what? Because again, life is more than just happy moments. You guys are you're going to test each other's patience, because it's just life. Nobody's perfect. You're going to do things. You're going to do things to each other that are going to piss each other off from time to time. It happens. You're not going to. Again, nobody is perfect. But again, make sure that you can handle this person when they are, comfort them, console them, try your best to learn to say the right things or do the right things to be there for them and get them back to those happy days or whatnot. Like, for instance, my wife is a real girly girl. She likes to be confident. She's a typical woman in regards to knowing that they have somebody who can make them feel secure, which thankfully I'm able to do all the time. Not to brag or toot my own horn, but I do a good job with making sure that April is aware of the fact that I'm gonna always be there for her, make her feel secure, and all of that. No matter what situation is, I might not always have the right thing to say at the time, but my intentions are always going to be to build her back up and get her back to the loving, happy woman that she always is. By the way, this joint right here is banging. Some sheets. I don't remember what it is, but banging. Pomegranate lemon, I think it is. But yeah, definitely very important. And then, of course, communication. In regards to laughter is a big thing that women love to do. If you're a man watching this, make sure that you have the ability to lighten up the day, bring sunshine to any cloudy day, be able to make her laugh, and that goes a long way. Women love to laugh. Women love to have that joy, and if you're constantly making her laugh, then that's a good thing. Now, of course, you can't get carried away, so be careful about that. Don't get too carried away where because there is a line. Everybody has their line in regards to what specifically is funny and what's not. So you want to make sure to establish in communication what's too far in regards to humor, so that you avoid those. Hopefully you're smart enough to want to avoid those, because if you're not, again, probably not going to work, and you definitely have that you're definitely holding on to that older sibling mentality a little too hard. And what mean by the older sibling is, this older sibling complex is, and I've witnessed this in a lot of older siblings, is when they find out about like something that pisses you off. Every now and again, they'll push your buttons and intentionally do it just to piss you off. So it's kind of weird that I've seen it happen in so many situations where there's an older sibling and a younger sibling, and I've even been guilty of it before. I won't lie. I don't have any younger blood siblings, but people that are close enough to me, that are like brother and sister to me, I pick with them from time to time, and I intentionally do it. I don't do anything, of course, that's gonna make them mad or anything, but I'll be like, but I just pick with them a little bit. That's just how it is sometimes. But yeah. And it is kind of warm out here. What temperature? It's 84 degrees in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. 84 degrees, crazy. It's a beautiful day outside. It kind of looks like it's been wanting to rain, so it's a little unnerving. I don't really want it to rain because the fact that I'm out and about and doing my thing and all that. But it is what it is. But back to the topic at hand. And that's a beautiful look back there. Look at that. It looks like I'm in a jungle somewhere. But yeah, that whole situation with communication is a very touchy thing. You want to make sure that you guys are always communicating, letting each other know, because communication affects a lot of different aspects of your life. It ties in with a lot of different aspects of life, from how you were raised. Like if you guys were raised differently and have different backgrounds, then you want to communicate about that so that you can come and kind of maybe make your own traditions, or see which family traditions you're going to hold on to from each side. Of course, there are some things that shouldn't be negotiable, like religion. Again, I'm a Christian, so I married a Christian woman. That was non-debatable in my efforts to find a spouse. Not at all. And I'm not here to knock anybody else about any religion that they are. I'm still gonna, if I see you in the street, I'm gonna love you just the way I love anybody else. So that's not my job to judge. So I'm not going to. But yeah, if you're a certain religion, you want to make sure to stick with someone who's in a certain religion, because that's going to make your life a lot easier too. That communication between each other, because like if you're separated in that regard, that can cause issues. And I know some situations where that actually happens, where that becomes very dicey. If you're watching this video, you know who you are, so I'm not going to go into detail. But relationships in regards to people who have different beliefs, that's definitely something that you don't want to mess with. That's a definite no-no. Moving on. So also, again, about backgrounds. Let's just say a person who grew up in a well-rounded family, trying to get with somebody who's like, not quite so well-rounded. You have to see hey, what is this person open to being more well-rounded, or do you need to dumb it down, or whatnot? That's some really important stuff. I mean, it can happen. I mean, that's kind of like more fairy tale-ish type stuff when you try to make dramatic things happen. Now, opposites can attract and it can work, but it's not necessarily likely, and it's not something me personally would encourage. The whole opposites attract type of thing. But like I said, yeah, it works. I have a brother, in fact, he's real quiet, he's real introverted. His wife is super extroverted and all that kind of stuff, but they make it work. Hey, and they've been married for 8 years, so it works for some people. And like when I talk about them specifically, they're on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So yeah, it can work, but that's not necessarily my cup of tea. Me and my wife April, we are very much alike in a lot of ways. We both like to be silly. We both like anime. Both are into games. I'm more into video games than she is, of course. But I'm still looking for that video game. In fact, we have a Nintendo Switch, and then we play like games like Mario Party and Mario Kart and all that stuff. So she's always there with me on that. But that's definitely one of those things that you definitely want to make sure to be aware of. Now, there's one thing I definitely wanted to make sure to throw in here, because this is something that I learned from my father. I love my father very much. We had a rocky start when I was a kid and all that kind of stuff, but I love my father to death, and we have a good relationship now, so that's all well and good. Didn't have communication when I was younger, so but now we're older and all that kind of stuff. Communication is there. I have a good time when I hang out with him and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that he always said that has always stuck with me, and I definitely appreciate this because it makes so much sense. And when I was a kid, I was like, I didn't really understand it, but he said it, and now it really makes sense, and I actually even catch myself saying it sometimes. And that is to say what you mean and mean what you say. And at first, man, I can't even get the words out. But at surface level, it sounds weird because he's saying, say what you mean and mean what you say. Now you're like, huh? But when you break it down, it actually makes so much sense. Because another thing about communication is you never want to try and make yourself sound bigger than you are and jump into a conversation that you know nothing about, because that's really going to mess you up. Like if you jump into a conversation where people are talking about politics and you don't even take the time to vote, yeah, you're probably gonna make yourself sound foolish. But like the latest video game comes out and you haven't played a video game since Super Mario 3, probably wanna, I mean, you're cool to stay in the conversation, but you probably wanna, stay in the background until you can kind of hey man, jump in and, say, what? That's cool. I'm gonna have to get back in the game so I can do that. But yeah, that really stuck with me though. He said, say what you mean and mean what you say. So essentially he's saying, if you're going to say something, say it with your chest, in my Kevin Hart voice. Say it with your chest. Say it and mean it, and understand that you have that knowledge base, and put it out there. and mean what you say. If you don't understand what you're saying, don't talk about it. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, I actually catch myself saying that sometimes, and it's actually like one of those like epiphany type moments. So big shouts out to Pops, and for that little nugget in life, I appreciate you. And if you ever watch this video, you know, if you get this far in the video where you hear this, then again, just know that I appreciate you for that little nugget. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. If you want a part 2, because there's a lot more aspects to communications. It's such a major important part of a relationship that I could potentially make a whole nother video about this. So if you want part 2, smash the like button, leave a comment, and I will go ahead and get more information in regards to how I can elaborate. But I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.